Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today in the chair I have with me TJ, and I've not met TJ before. Another recommendation from Sandy, so big shout out to Sandy again for doing some great models for me. But let's jump straight in and talk through what we're going to do. So, yeah, what's the plan? What we're going to do with your hair today? What we're thinking?
I'm thinking shorter.
Shorter, lovely.
Yeah.
Can I take it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, so I'm going to let you pull the band out just so I don't pull any hairs. Okay, so we're thinking shorter.
Yes, please.
How short are we thinking? What's the plan on short?
Maybe right under the shoulder.
It's like collarbone length?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit longer. I'd say for proportions, just looking at the face shape, looking at sort of the length of the neck, I think bringing to about here will probably be a little bit stronger with the shape.
Okay.
Any shorter, I feel maybe we might get a bit more width going on. I'd rather be longer than wider with your hair.
Okay.
I'm assuming just by feeling the density, it gets quite wide.
It does.
Yeah, so I'd rather keep, 100%
Like
so we know the hair gets
100%,
quite big.
100%, yes, I have to thin it.
Thin it out a lot.
Yeah.
Excellent. Did you want it thinned out today?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, once I wash it, if I feel like it needs it, I'll go through and cut out in the roots. Yeah, good. But I'd say just with that proportions, I think a little bit longer will probably be a little bit more beneficial, just easier to maintain the shape.
Okay.
Will that work okay? So if we're about an inch or so below the collarbone would be good.
Okay.
A vision I'm looking for, I think something quite square would be quite nice on the perimeter. So it's sort of quite textured. It looks a little bit wider. But I don't want to put a lot of layers in with your hair.
Okay.
I think if I do a lot of layers to it, it's going to start to round up quite a bit. So I want to work with just a layering pattern, which is going to sort of just promote a bit more of a wave going through it, because you like it when it moves, don't you? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I think I'm going to work with a layer, just give you a bit more sort of lift here on the perimeter, but then one longer, one heavy.
I like that. Around. I don't know how to explain it, but it looked, the pictures I was looking at, it has like a choppy look, like, you know, the picture that I sent you.
Yeah.
It has like a look where it almost looks, but I could tell there were layers in it, but the way that she created the
sort
wave
of looks
with
a little bit like this, where you've got that separation, that movement to it,
Yeah.
All the way through.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. Yeah, so that's why I'm going to put that layer in, back and forth, and to allow it to happen. And that does come down to styling as well. So you'll see like a wand be used, and it'll be sort of a little bit of this and a little bit of that to promote that clash of texture.
Okay, yeah.
So I think we're good. What we're going to do there, we're going to work through by bringing the perimeter up a good few inches. So again, we're going to come up to around about here. So let's say that's like 5 inches or so off the length. Keeping the textured perimeter, keeping it quite choppy through there, but still maintaining some density. Less layers, but I do want to put some movement through the internal layers as well, just so that it does give a bit more shape to it. And any fringes or anything around the face, any detail through here?
I don't know. You mean like a layer?
Yeah, nothing up here, no fringes, nothing short.
No.
No, nothing there, perfect. Then I think we'll keep the length at the front and just, I think it would be quite nice to keep that quite long actually.
Okay.
I might soften it, I'll just see how it looks as we go through.
I feel like, because eventually I'd probably want to get it colored where I get like a little bit of blonde like in the picture I showed you. So whatever looks good with that.
Excellent, perfect. So just soften that little corner to make that happen. I have to try and find that picture now. We've been talking about it.
I know.
So whatever we mean about the picture.
The picture I sent you. You know the picture I sent you? Yeah,
we have some inspiration pictures. Let me bring them up just for camera so we can see them. So they've been our inspiration pictures of what we feel like we want to work towards. I always say when I get the consultations, you know, just in case we do want to do something different and how we see, but I do love that. But they're a lot shorter. The pictures are, again, a lot shorter than what I recommend.
Right.
I recommend keeping length to it just for the reasons as I said. So
no, I agree.
We go through for that. Excellent. Yes. Let's do it. We're going to go get shampooed, and I'll see you back in a minute. Hair's all combed through. Spent a bit of time going through, just combing through. I didn't want to apply a lot of conditioning-based products to it. I wanted to go through and comb it because as I go through to dry, I don't want too much influence from the product choice. I want to keep it quite nice and light. So I just use a bit of Sweet Spirit from Innocence as my cutting agent, which has worked through really nice. The hair feels really soft and supple, so really happy with that product. Check below for the link for the Innocent products. As we're going through now, I'm going to go through in section. Now, biggest thing for me is I want to cut the hair how it's naturally going to lie. If I start to sort of elevate too high, it's going to change the structure too much. So the one length's going to be placed in. I'm going to start creating my shape in the front and then build up the shape in the back, as you've seen me do before in a few other videos. Then we're going to go through and place the layers in as well. When I say the layers, more just break up the perimeter to put the shape in. So for me, the biggest thing that I'm going to work on now is just understanding the structure of the one length in itself. So I'm going to be working just round to the corner at the back, subdividing through this area. This is going to allow the shape between the front and the back to be a lot more balanced. It's going to allow me to create a shape in the front, nice and strong, nice and thick. Then as the hair will naturally fall behind the shoulder, it will give me a guide on both sides to create the square baseline through the back. The reason for focusing on this way first is I want the hair to be predominantly worn in front of the shoulder. So I'm focusing on this being the area that I'm going to work to first of all. If I start working through to the back and then I go through and bring it through to the front, it's going to influence how the shape lies. So this is going to be my cleanest result and easiest way to create the shape. So with these section patterns in place, I'm going to keep that comb down. I'm going to grab some clips and I'm just going to go through first of all and just work horizontally just across this section, comb down, and then this can be the first guide that I'm going to work to create my baseline. So this is how my baseline will be created. I'll be working each hair on top of each other. I do want to maintain a lot of texture and a lot of movement in that perimeter. So as I go through to comb, I will be working a nice sort of point cut. I'll be working down, hitting the shoulder, coming around to the front, finding my guide to length, which I think is proportion-wise, then maybe a little bit shorter. Happy to go a little bit shorter. Yeah. And then through here, I'm going to point cut, just square, straight across, both ways. Now, I'll achieve that same shape on the other side, and then that'll be my guide to work through for the rest of the haircut through the front. So by doing this, it's allowed me to really achieve the shape of the haircut that's most important to my client. Now, what's the biggest thing they do? Grab the hair at the front. This is where I want my hair to be. They bring the hair forward and hold it here. It's the safety blanket. It's the area that they love the most. So that's the area I want to work on first because that gives us the most strength and security for my client to be happy sitting in my chair. I like to do this first because, I always talk about if we're cutting the back, first of all, we're doing this, we're popping up from behind a client being like, hey, how you doing? Doing this back and forth. And then we cut all of this hair, drop it in front, and for that whole time, they're like, what's it look like? How long is it? This way, the client feels, the length it is first of all. They feel comfortable, they feel happy with it, and they really like the length. So they can relax. We can talk more on product choice, get to know them, all that kind of stuff first, which is really nice. So here we go. Find that length, and I'm going to just turn that to the side and point cut, just as more comfortable for myself. Where I'm holding the hair in position, I know that it's secure. I know that if I move it because I've held it in the correct position, it's going to be the right shape and the right length as well. Let me check my balance. You see, inch longer on this side. Always like to be cautious. That's one thing I always do is be cautious more on one side and build up to it rather than go straight to it. I also feel if I do go straight to it, then if I go past it, then you're playing that balance game, getting shorter and shorter, and that's always hard work. So for me, I like to just build up, get it nice and even, tiny bit more in that corner again. And just spending my time getting it right for my client, and off we go. Perfect. Good. That bit will come from behind, and here we go. So now we're just going to build up that same shape. One of the things I'm going to do through this technique, which I feel is quite important, is not to incorporate the section below in every time. I might take a slither of a guide above it, but build up to it. I want to build shape on top of each other and not incorporate it all, because if I do, it's going to start to thin it out too much, and I want to maintain that nice clash between the sections of hair. So let's subdivide. Here we go. Take a slight guide from the one below. So as you can see here, just taking a very small slither of guide. Again, I'm going to comb down to the shoulder, so the hair is going to be imitating its most natural fall. Now, I can see my guide, and here I'm going to point cut on top of that. Now, you probably can't see that from that angle. I'm probably bringing it away, but just allowing that shape to happen. So that can sit on top of the guide every time, nice and clean. That starts to break up the perimeter, it starts to break up the shape, and allowing the hairs to clash a little bit within the texture, so giving me a much more of a fun finish itself. I repeat this technique all the way up until we reach the top and then work to the back. So the simplicity of this one length is just really creating a nice shattered result. all the way through. Ensure my point cut goes in as vertical as possible. Just with the hair itself, how textured it's becoming. I know the more vertical I come in, the softer it's going to be. If I start working a lower angle, I'm going to get heavier lines, which can be more visible to finish. So going in as parallel to the hair shaft as possible is really key for the texture and especially the density of the hair I'm working with here. There we go. Again, just rinse and repeat all the way through. Take a guide from the one below, come down, again, to my shoulder, then work through to the front, keeping as much length within that as possible. Finding my guide, I can see it there, and then again, point cutting through the guide, all the way. I like to work back and forth, just alternating sides. That way I can check balance, nice and easy, nice and clean, nice and simple. I can also go through and work as well and just see how the shape's developing as I'm building the shape up. I love this technique for if I'm working a fringe, if I'm working a bob, anything where I want the layers or the perimeter textures, the perimeter ends to clash a little bit and to be just a little bit softer in itself. It's just a really nice way to work. Okay, last section. I find this way to be quite quick as well. Like I might feel like it's taking a bit of time, but the execution of it I think is quite nice. It does give us that sort of softer result and softer feel. So it just feels quite nice to work this way. It feels a little bit sort of simple as well, which is nice and fun. Coming down and around, again, it's keeping that length in the front. Again, it gives me the option to go through and take that off later and round that corner up if I want to. But as you can see here now, beautiful result. All of the texture is being built onto those edges. Everything's sort of the same length. It's just nice. It's nice movement to it, and it clashes. Just gives another design. If I incorporate everything together, it's just going to blend and sit really soft and disappear, which I don't want to do. I want someone to see the separation between all of the sections. I find if I do it this way now, then I have to do less work when it comes to finish later, when it's dry. I'm going to check just a little corner here, just those little long bits. We're going to just double check those. A little bit cautious on the last one. There it is, I can see them just coming out from behind. So let's remove those. Always checking, always cross-checking. Just making sure that we're happy with the overall shape and the detail that we're working on. There we go. Much better. Perfect. How's that feel? That looks nice. Perfect. Then all of the little bits, once we go through and do the back, we check everything and make sure the baseline is nice and clean and nice and solid. So, as I was talking about before, now if you come through to the back now, you'll see these areas. Now through the back, when I move the shoulders over, I now have two guides either side. So I can continue this shape if my client wanted to have something like a point or a V to it, if they wanted some kind of shape in the back. I have these two guides either side, which allows me to then work a nice strong base. Here I just want to work nice and square, and I can choose how high I work that perimeter as well, depending on where I want to finish the shape. But knowing every time the center and the back won't come through and interfere with the shape at the front, so I maintain that same positioning that I've done already. And that for me is one of the biggest things that I really like about this technique, especially by working in the front first of all. The back doesn't interfere with the shape I create at the front anyway. But you didn't know there's this much to just cutting hair.
I'm learning so much.
That's it. Well, are you taking tips when you start doing hair? Perfect, I love it. Just so you know, everyone, We got TJ's daughter Riley over here, so she's looking to do hair maybe in the future. We're trying to persuade her to become a hairdresser, so we're trying to do all the good tips for her. There we go. What'd you say, Riley? Good? Might do it? Learning? Love it. So through the back, just working the diagonal forwards, just subdividing through the back area. I do want to leave a little bit of the corner out just so I know where my corner resides. So as I go through to subdivide that top area, I can just start to see that area nice and clean. Have those guides on both sides. But through this centre back, all I'm really trying to do is just to give texture and softness to it. I know the hair's going to come forward. I know the shape we want is going to be quite square. So I do want to use that as a guide to work forward. So just a nice large section. Again, making sure that my scissors are nice and parallel. And I'm going to just cut back and forth, knowing that the short hair will push the longer hair. So making sure that the scissors cut in each direction. So as we do start to work to move all of that length, even though we are going very vertical and very parallel to it, we still want to make sure that we're pushing the hair in directions that we want it to go, which for us is going to be more vertically straightforward. So if I do work from left to right, so if I'm doing this, I will start to see that the hair is going to want to be pushed in that direction. I want the hair to sit a little bit straighter. So by working a straighter blade, working back and forth, I can promote the hair to sit straighter with a little bit of movement left and right, but still a softer result. Okay, so coming through to that final corner, you start to see now I've got my guide here, I can just go through and cut that off. And there we go. A square shape through the back, as always. Check balance, love it. And here we go, and do the same repeat. Do the same thing, rinse and repeat, do the same technique as before, where we will take a guide from below and from above and follow that same shape all the way through. For us, the continuity and just simplicity of working the same shape will give us the same result on the perimeter to finish. So here we go, combing down, finding my guide underneath, continuing nice and square. Nice soft shape all the way, gives us a great detail. So when it comes to these techniques, when you're starting out with these techniques or you're working through, just understanding what you're doing, why you're doing it, just know that when you're looking for this kind of clash of texture, where you've got the hair below moving one way, hair above moving another, you start to get a little bit more volume into the shape, which is nice, but you also start to get a little bit more of a different feeling and design. It's not always about just seeing the hair collapse and disappear. We want to see the separation, so we do want to see the width within the section itself. I know we've said earlier with TJ's hair that the head does get very big, so you think, why would we want more width? But we get a lot of width here, so by maintaining the width here as well, the shape will be a little bit naturally a little bit squarer within the result that we're after. So just complementing the overall finish with the design is what we're going to be after doing. Okay, so you see that if I incorporate all that together, which I was nearly going to do, but I didn't, I stopped myself. You would blend that all, and I don't want to blend. So let's go back through, take that guide. Comb down, and off we go. Square to the back, square to the shoulders, all the way. Last section. So again, knowing that we've just done with the thick hair, just 3 sections at the back, it does allow the shape to become quite quick, which is quite nice. Comb down, find the guide, and work through. So any plans for the last few days of spring break for you?
This.
This is it.
Yeah. These are my big plans.
Nice.
No, I mean, we have church on Sundays, so those
Nice.
are pretty big days. It's like an
Yeah.
all-day thing.
Oh, is it nice?
Yeah. Well, for us,
Yeah.
because we go to all the services.
Oh, yeah.
We're there for everything, so we get there really early, and then we're usually the last to leave.
Nice. Do you do anything at the church? Participate in any, looking after anything, organising or?
Yeah, I'm on the pastoral staff there,
Nice.
so I oversee kind of the entire day
Yeah.
and all the services and everything. So it's definitely a big day for us.
Nice.
So we're kind of, first ones there, one of the last ones to leave, and that kind of thing. But busy day, but then we just take really good naps when we get home.
We love a nap.
Yeah. We have this thing where we say Sunday naps, they're the best naps.
They certainly are.
Because
That's
you
it.
just like, go really, really hard and then you just crash. There's nothing like a Sunday nap.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sunday
And then
naps are the
surprisingly,
best
the
naps.
kids do pretty good too. I'm like, I've got 4 of them and they're there the whole time.
Oh, nice. There's
And
at church the whole time as well.
Yeah, they pack their
Nice.
lunch and just hang. So they're used to it now. They've been
Nice.
doing it forever, so get them volunteering and doing
Yeah.
something,
Love it.
Yeah. Right, baby? Pulling your weight?
So over the back going, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I guess, yeah, it's fine. Being my assistant.
Nice. So just finishing off the perimeter and literally just going through and just ever so slightly just detail any long areas, any details that I want to. We are going to lay it and we are going to soften as well. So just know that we are going to go through back and do a little bit. But as you can see through here, I'm just detailing those edges. Any extra long bits, but I'm definitely not taking any of the texture away. I'm just making sure that I haven't missed anything and then it's looking really, really strong and really clean for me. Little corner over here. So just making sure I'm cleaning up any corners just to perfect the result and the shape. Nice. Okay. All right. Length is in, perimeter's in, texture's there. Now I'm going to go through and put those little bits of wave in for it. So my approach on this is going to be slightly different. And I haven't done this technique before through the video. So the idea here is that I want to go through and create like a vertical wave going through the hair. So, one will wave, one will, so there'll be sort of short, long, short, long. So the overall shape will start to sort of move as it goes around the head. I'll be working in just sort of roughly inch width sections. It doesn't have to be exact. It just depends on my overall shape. And as I elevate the shape out, nothing's going to come higher than the top of the head, very importantly, because if it does, it's then going to start to round up a little bit. But I'm going to be working one shape just out to here, and I'll be point cutting through that corner just to soften that base. The next one, I'll be out, but I'll be working short to long. So there'll be one longer, one shorter, one longer, one shorter, all vertically brought out from the head. So as you can see through here, the first one's going to be my shortest, then I'm going to get longer, then I'm going to get shorter, then I'm going to get longer, shorter, and finish on a long one. So always make sure we finish on that long one for the length around the face. So from here, I'm going to comb out, I'm going to angle short to long, I'm going to then go through keeping as much perimeter length as I want to. So point cut through here. And yes, we are now going to be taking away some of that perimeter length, but we don't want to go through and keep this as a full layer first of all, because we want to make sure that the shape we're putting through the hair itself is soft enough or long enough that we can work the shape. So checking this one out as my long one, you can start to see the layers come up to about here. So nice and long. Do I want any more than that to bring it up a little bit? Maybe an inch or two we could go, just a tiny bit. So again through here, combing out, angling the scissors, the comb, and then working the scissors back, focusing on going from the underneath through to the top. You'll know from the other videos that that's important because it allows us to keep that shorter hair on top of the longer, making it sit flatter as we move through. And as I start to look at that, it's nice and soft, still nice and thick, but it just starts to layer that top area again. So we've got a nice layer around the perimeter, which looks really good. Next one's going to be, I'm going to just take my weight out from the corner and come back up to this length down there as we move around. So let me show you that. These will all be disconnected, so they're not going to be based around being an even shape connected to anything else. I'm going to take out what's important for me on the perimeter, first of all. So my perimeter is going to be where my strength lies. That's my short one. This will be my long one. As I come the long one out, again, vertical to the shape in the corner. I'm going to find my corner. I'm going to point cut just through here. The difference in the short one, the one that I'm doing here, is I'm not going through and taking a lot of length away. If anything, I'm even keeping some of that length and just thinning out that area. So as you can see, Matt, come around here, you can see this. We've still maintained a lot of that length, but it's just softer and broken, but we've got layers. So you're going to start to see that layering is going to give a bit more lift to it. This one will be flatter, this one will be shorter, this one will be flatter, and you'll start to see that blend going through. Definitely designed for a haircut, for a client that straightens their hair a lot or puts a little bit of wave or a kink or bend to it. Again, we are working disconnections through the shape, so it's not about going through and having it all connect, it's having it sit messy, sit soft, sit with movement. So we will see the disconnections, but when we do sort of curl it and move it and have it soft and shattered, it will work really well. So next one through here will be a short, long, and a short, and off we go. So through here, again, taking out the perimeter, making sure I don't layer below my curvature, so I maintain the thickness underneath. This one will be the short one. So again, putting all the more layers in. Ensure that as we cut that, we are going really vertical in, so we're not trying to create any steps or lines. Sitting great around the shoulder. Let's move that shape. Come up a little bit shorter through here. So it's a very visual cutting technique. It's one that we sort of understand when we're working maybe with a bit more curl, when we're working with hair that we want to sort of keep a bit more naturally controlled to the shape. It's all going to be very organic in our approach and very natural for our finish. There we go. Next one here. So again, this is going to be like our second one. Take out our perimeter density. You can see we're getting higher now towards the front. Cutting into it more, so we're softening. There we go. And honestly, just seeing how fine this area here is getting, I'm going to tackle that once it's dry. I'm not going to touch that now. I'm going to do that once it's dry. As we start to move that, you can now start to see instantly how that wave's happening around the head, that movement on the perimeter, that nice shattered feel. And then I'm going to cut into this just a little bit, just to finish later. Okay, let's repeat on the other side. As you can see, I'm combing the hair out, holding the hair through the fingers, then just letting it fall into the scissors. This way, it just allows the hair to easily be controlled as I'm cutting. Next one, take the guide, and off we go. This one's going to be more layers. And then to the front with less layers. So as you can see, the simple effectiveness of the shape, it does become quite quick. It becomes quite simple, quite effective. Once the perimeter's in, we're ready to go. After this, we're going to go through and dry. So it becomes very simple once these techniques are in. A lot of the hair cutting will be done once it's dry anyway, just for the initial shape and the understanding that she does do a lot of her hair once it is dry, understands the styling of it. So just utilising that same shape and understanding that we don't want to put a lot of movement layers through too much when it's wet. We want to have the shape and understanding when it's dry. So this, I'm going to go through and do that there. How does that feel so far?
Good.
Feels nice. Just enough of a change to
Yeah.
a little bit of detail to it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's go through and blow dry. As we go through to dry, we are going to go through straight, blow dry it straight, check the shape, and then we can put a little bit of bend or movement to it if we want to when we finish that as well. Okay, here we go. Use a little bit of the Serenity Smoothing Cream from the Innocence. Just a little pea size. Some people smile at me from through the window. I can smile back.
You can't not be happy when you look at a smiling baby.
I know, it gets you, doesn't it? You're sort of like, just...
And you feel so affirmed as a person, right?
Yeah.
When a baby likes you.
You're like, oh, well.
You're like, I'm the best. I'm, you know.
It's instantly like, well, they know my soul, so it's perfect.
Yeah,
That's it.
I know.
They've not been warped or convoluted by
Yeah,
anything.
exactly.
Actually, like,
I'm not
oh,
defiled, right?
Yeah, they understand me. It's perfect. How's it feeling so far?
Good.
Good. So, I want to go through and thin out this nape area for you, if that's all right.
Yeah.
It's just looking really big. So for me, as I've gone through the dry, I've literally just rough dried the shape, just smoothed everything over, and just sort of seeing the shape. I'm loving how the layers are sitting, just that beautiful little sort of emphasis to it. It's going to give it just enough, but I want to break out all the underneath to soften this so it just collapses it even more. A little bit over the corners as well. Then we are going to go through and break into the front and just do a little bit of detailing as well on the layers we've already placed in. So as we can see, just with that shape, it's taking just enough, but I want to break that up just a little bit more, just so we can visibly see them extra. So a little bit more work to do. Here we go. Let's crack on through. So we're going to thin the hair out first of all. So to do that, I want to cut tiny little bits of hair away just at the roots. If I go through and start to thin out too much elsewhere, it's going to, again, get quite frizzy, quite big. But I want to thin out just at the roots just to let it collapse. It's going to imitate the hair's natural growth pattern, so as it grows back, it won't become too thick. It will just naturally fall into the hair as we go through to, as it goes through to grow back into shape. So here we go. We're going to subdivide this area. Put that underneath out of the way.
How was it doing? Jessica McNack's hair was super, super thick too, right?
Yes. But beautiful. Her hair was good.
Oh,
Actually,
gosh, her hair is gorgeous.
we put a lot of layers to it.
Yeah.
Again, as you saw, and it just was, you know,
Yeah.
you just got a great curl to it and movement to it. Yeah.
Her
It
hair's
was lovely.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
I know.
So being very cautious to make sure the blade's going vertically, not horizontally to the hair. So as we go through, as you can see by combing that out, it doesn't look like there's any hair been taken out, but again, lots has been taken out. So just really being sort of careful to just work, you know, that vertical cut all the way through at the roots, and just bespoke the placement, being a bit more careful to go up too high, and following that same shape. Which everyone's been, you know, everyone that's coming from the church has been fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Chatting, laughing, it's been good.
Aw.
Yeah, it's been a real good meet for everyone.
Yeah, I love our people.
Yeah.
We have the coolest people.
I was saying to Jim yesterday, I need to do like a little everyone's going to have their hair done by me soon, or at least sort of, you know,
I know,
a good
I know,
percentage.
I know.
And I'm like, I need to sort of come probably introduce myself to everyone else
I
and
know,
be like,
right?
hey, so I'm the guy that everyone's been.
Yes, I'm him. Yeah, because Jess usually cuts, I think she does, she cuts her own hair. She's a total hippie, but she's like, and then when she came in, we were like, why does it look so good though?
Nice.
Like, and then she's like, oh, I went to Sandy's guy. I was like, all right. Yeah, she's already stunning, but.
Yeah.
And her hair is so, I don't know, it's just like voluptuous, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Actually, her sister is gorgeous too. They're both just the cutest things.
They are, yeah. And I think James said you just had a baby as well or something
She
like
did.
4 months
Yeah.
old, yeah.
Yep. We also do that a lot. We all just have babies. Yeah, that's our thing.
That's it.
I'm like, I have 4.
You have
I'm like,
4?
I have 4, yeah. My friend Sarah's got 5.
Wow.
I'm like, you know, Sandy has 7. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
I do know that, yeah. And I've met all of them except Charles, I think, is the only one I haven't met before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, she was the first, obviously. The rest of us are, still having babies.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Jess just had her 3rd.
Wow.
And actually, Jamie just had her 2nd. So
Yeah.
it's like we took it as a challenge or something. We're like, who can have the most,
I can win.
Yeah, I'm going to beat you. Like, oh, that's so funny. Jamie. Jess's sister. Actually, well, no, she had hers right before Jess had hers. You know her sister, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did you take care of the kids at church when you go? Do you look after the kids?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. She's in the nursery every first service.
Oh, nice.
That's because of her little brother, but she definitely finds herself holding all the babies.
Yeah. And you like it?
Actually, her younger brother, he takes the 2nd service in the nursery.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm like, he pulls his weight too. I'm
Good,
like,
good.
Yeah, I'm like, he helps. So, but my youngest was a preemie, so he needed like extra attention. So I'm like, it's cool that I've got these older ones who can kind of be with him.
Yeah.
Just like a little extra. Because he was just very small at first. He's huge now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How small was he when he was?
Well, actually, I mean, he was he was a big preemie. I mean, like,
preemie.
to be fair, he was 6 pounds 13 ounces.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But so he was, for a preemie, he was big.
Yeah.
But he was, I guess, a little more fragile though.
Yeah.
Just because his lungs weren't quite there, and some other things. So he had to be in the NICU. But it was funny though, because nothing fit him as a preemie.
Oh.
Like, they were like, he's
Oh, yeah, because he's...
the size of a regular baby, and nothing here fits him. So they had to like kind of jimmy rig all the stuff that they were, to put on him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just have these monster babies. I don't know, like.
They're healthy. That's
Yeah,
it. That's good.
I'm like, he's strong, like, but no, there's some stuff that had to develop.
Oh.
But my other son was 9 pounds, 9 pounds 1 ounce.
Yeah.
And he was about a week early too. So we just have these big old babies. I don't know.
Yes, sir. I just want to come out quick.
I'm not big.
No, but you were a good sized baby though. We blame Dad, right? We blame Dad for the big babies. He's
Built like you.
It's true. But all the other ones,
They're all gonna be taller than you soon.
yeah, you're little. I don't know where you get that from. Definitely not your dad.
It's a huge mystery.
He's a big guy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so funny because I'm like, pretty petite, and then I just walk around with these giant babies, and people are like, that doesn't match. Like, they're like, bigger than you.
So, as you can see by the hair on the ground, we've thinned out just the nape area here. JT, feel that nape area. See how that feels for me. Put your hands in there.
It's so soft. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yes, that's, oh my gosh.
A lot better.
so
And we're going to go
nice.
through and do these corners as well. I know.
Yes. Looks like a Pomeranian on the floor. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you've got to come, we've got to film you again.
I know. Well, that
Take
just
two, take
means
two.
I get to come back.
That's
you know?
it. Have another hair guy.
No, it shouldn't be an issue.
Should be good.
Because the mic is on the side of it. So if
Oh, yeah.
it's just brushing up against the front of it,
Yeah.
it should be fine.
Our first video, we've had over 11,000 views on it.
Wow.
It's the first one, and from there there's sort of up to like 3, 4, 2, 1, sort of around there.
Wow.
Yeah, the first one where we knew nothing about what we was doing, it seems to sort of done really well.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Just the algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't, well, I've heard people are like less interested in like regular shows anymore. They want like real life, they watch YouTube, like they just watch people doing their lives and I don't know, like real life stuff.
The less orchestrated it is, the better.
Yeah, isn't that so funny?
Yeah.
I'm like, I like acting. I'm like, give me acting.
Give me the fake stuff.
Give me a story, yeah.
They don't like videos anymore. They want live streams.
Is it all live streams? Yeah. Okay, put your hands through that. See if that feels thin enough. We are going to go through and
Feels good.
relay the front and stuff. Go from there. Nice.
Hopefully the next one that we do, we might actually live stream on Instagram.
Oh, that'd be a good idea. Yeah. Oh, that'd be nervous for me. I'd be scared on that. I'd be like,
You're like, no editing?
Yes.
Like, what if I drop the F-bomb randomly, What's going to happen?
we go viral. That's what will happen to
Yeah,
us
you
too.
go
That's
viral.
it.
You're like, well.
Okay, so I've gone through the thin out. We took off all of the hairs. You can see here, a huge pile of hair on the ground there. Look at that, it's great. And we've had it checked. JC's gone through and checked it and said like it feels a lot thinner. But the biggest thing that I've done there is I've not thinned out or done anything above the curvature because that again can run the risk of the hair getting a little bit fuller as it starts to grow out, but also a little bit sticking out if anything does happen. So all that we've done is thinned out underneath the curvature, allow the hair that's on top, which has more weight to it, to collapse down and push that so it sits flatter, so it just sort of doesn't come out as much. But the shape will still be nice and square. What we're going to go through and do now is check each individual section. So I'm going to go through and just follow the same pattern that I've done before, elevate out, look at my partings and just cut into them a little bit more and just give them a little bit more emphasis on what I want them to do. Follow that through to the front, and then we're going to detail just that front around the face, just because it sort of needs a little bit of something. And then we'll be done. So nice sort of simple effect as we move on through. Another thing about working above the curvature is we haven't thinned out anything within the layering. We've purely just thinned out the perimeter. So it's just a nice way to be consistent with what we've been working with as well. So just elevating out, following that same shape. And as you can see, as I'm point cutting through it, I'm just breaking up all that shape, cutting into it, just so it sits nice and soft, and bends all the way through to the back. A bit more just on that perimeter corner. There we go.
You can comb through it now.
Yeah. And now it's easy. Yeah, sometimes just doing it once it's dry, it just works, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
nice.
Is this the length it's going to be, or is it going to be like shorter?
No, this is the length.
This is the length.
Yeah.
The pictures you showed me were a lot shorter.
Yeah, we remember in the consultation we went through, we decided to go a little bit longer because the shorter we go, the wider the hair is going to come because how thick it is. So just sort of erring on the side of caution, just because if we did go too short, I didn't want it to look too big.
It would look like a fro, baby.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's it.
I already had that when I was a kid. I don't need that again, My
Had
hair
some
was so
PTSD from
curly.
that, so you were
Yes,
like,
a little bit of PTSD. My hair was curly, and then my mom cut it in a bob.
oh,
And I
wow.
was like, why do you hate me? Like,
You always told me that she cut it like a mushroom.
yeah, it did look like a mushroom. I looked like a mushroom.
Did you want to put some wave in today or keep it straight? Do you have a preference?
Wave would be cool. That's how I typically like to style it, is with that cute little wave.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, what's the best way to do that though? Because blow drying it straight for me takes forever, and so then I don't always. I'll blow dry it, but it doesn't. Obviously, there's like still wave in it,
Yeah,
and then I just kind of sometimes then I'll do like flat iron it at the top and then curl it in the middle and then flat iron it at the bottom. Like I don't know, like
that's it. That works.
does that work? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm like I
that
don't know what
works.
else to do. Like
You can, again, blow drying it straight. You want to get it sort of smooth and clean anyway.
yeah,
So if it's not smooth and clean, then you're going to be at that stage where you're like, I just want it to sort of sit
Yeah.
smoother and cleaner. So
Right.
you do want to go through and put some kind of sort of smoothness to it to start.
right, okay,
So, you know, however you do that is important for your time and things. And then sort of go through it. You can rough dry it, as you saw me do, just with the paddle brush and smooth it over and get it dried. And then grab the ends, and you know, the more you're holding it over the heat, the more it's going to smooth over. If you do curl it with the straightening irons, obviously you're going to smooth it from curl, so that can make it sit flat as well and collapse it. When you're doing it with a wand, it's going to maintain its bit more fullness to it.
right,
So if you're looking for a flatter, do it with some irons that can clamp. But I think as you're doing at the moment, you know, if it's working as a system, then just go for it. Yeah, if you're understanding. Just head forward from it at the moment. Perfect.
I used to always think cutting hair was easy. Like I thought it was chop, 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 you're done. That's what I always thought it was.
What do you think now? It's chop, 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 and now you're done. So
she saw more of the science.
that's it.
I was like, oh,
There's a method to it.
there's a definite method.
Like you're still cutting at her hair, and I'm like, it looks good. Why are you still cutting?
And it's just little things that I know it needs doing, and little things that.
There's a difference between a professional baby and just hacking away.
Like Dad did.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided now to go through and just try and maintain as much strength as I can through the front. But I just again want to cut into this area. I don't want to go through and layer and take this away, so it's going to make it look a lot shorter. But I do want some shorter areas through this, so when it does move, it gives it a nicer texture. So I'm going to go through and just comb that down. I'm going to remove just some of the perimeter, so if it does come down, it still maintains that corner, which again is really important for me. I'm going to comb just straight out on the corner of it and not forward, because I don't want to layer too much at the front. And I'm just going to go through and cut into this nice and vertical, so that's broken up enough. I'm just going to start to work back and cut into the hair higher and higher up. So now it's starting to create a bit more of a seamless result all the way through. My point cut will actually be shorter to longer internally through that section. I'm going to come up a little bit higher just to maintain some even more softness. Same thing again. So as that now falls down, we can start to see the strength is there, but just a little bit more movement can shine through in that front. So not too much of a change, but just enough to soften that area. How does that feel? A bit more through there?
Looks good.
Yeah. That feels good. Yes. And just do the same on the other side. To start lower, let's work in the perimeter, softness first of all. Then higher up, start working in my layers. And then the real strong softness. And the elevation just means that I'm working higher up, because as that's going to fall back down to its natural position, it's going to have more graduation, more softness. And in the corners, as we're cutting dry, always really important to go through and just see the shape once you've cut it to make sure it's looking balanced, looking good all the way through. So how does that feel? Everything feels good?
Yeah.
Lengthwise, texture-wise, layer-wise, all feels nice?
Mm-hmm.
So if you wear it straight, you know, you've got that nice texture to it as well. As you can see, it doesn't go too wide for you.
Yeah.
It maintains that shape. So what we're going to do now is grab a wand and curl here.
Does my hair naturally, like, does it look flat at the top? Is that normal? Like, or is like...
So that's your roots, sort of the strength of your roots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I see like somebody like Jess's hair where I feel like it's like, you know,
Has a bit more lift
goes
to it.
up. But what do you
You'll have
what
to.
do you like? Like, what's right? You know what I mean? Like.
So whatever texture works. So for lifting the roots, and as you go through, you can grab that and dry a little bit of, you know, opposite, so it has a bit more lift to it.
Oh, I see.
Lift will give you a bit more softness, but it's also going to make the hair feel a little bit bigger as well.
Oh, okay.
But if you'll put some volume into the roots and then get the ends quite straight, it will soften.
Okay.
So if you see, like when you do this on one side, you have that straight down and clean. It's a lot sort of harsher, it's a lot stronger on the face.
Yeah.
Whereas that softness just on one side, if you sort of just give it more lift to it,
Okay.
it just softens the shape.
So it's not wrong either way.
No.
It's just preference
Yeah,
or style.
pure preference. I mean, like back in the 70s, everything was
Right. Yeah.
really
yeah,
flat
yeah.
and clean.
No,
It was
totally.
the height of fashion, you know. And if you had any lift to it, you was dated.
Right.
You know, so
You were lame.
yeah. But the same now, and a lot of people want a bit more lift to it, but a lot of people have finer hair, and you know they
It
feel
like floats up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
and they want, you know, volume and fullness because they want to look like the hair's thicker.
Gotcha.
You're so used to having such thick hair that you're like, I actually feel better when it's flatter because I
Yeah.
feel like my hair's, you know, more how I like
Not
it.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would literally just keep it sort of from here. You can do little tricks when you blow dry it with the hair dryer by, I'll show you this. Pinching those together when it's wet
Oh.
and drying those, and it just holds it up. So you see it just now has that little bit of lift to it.
Right. Just a little bit. Yeah.
So you brush that through and it's just a little bit of lift.
Yeah. Wow.
And as I said, you can also go through and just grab the first couple of top sections, dry them the other direction.
Yeah.
So as it comes back over, it's now got lift underneath.
Right.
It's purely down to personal preference for yourself, where however you want it. Yeah. Okay. So it's just gonna grab a section and put some waves to it and just work around the head all evenly, you know, however we do. So you see it just, and then you just shake it to finish and done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Biggest thing is just don't try and do too much. Don't try too much with it.
Right. I've been doing it the wrong way.
There's no wrong way. It's just whichever way works for yourself. Yeah. And you can do sort of horizontal, which is like a positive, negative, where you're sort of having one up, one down, which works really well. You can have ones which, go all different ways, back and forth and stuff like that. Yeah. She says there's just that soft wave to it. It's not so, structured, a bit messy.
Yeah.
You can put some product into it and have it sort of flatter if you want to, with a different bit of curl to it, but just that soft bit of shape. So just playing around. I
love it. What sort of product do you like? Is it like hairspray or like?
All I just put on them was a product called Young and Dry Conditioner, so it adds sort of like a shine and a bit of smoothness to it just when you're sort of brushing it through. But yeah, you can add shine to it, you can add some sort of detail, you can add sort of some waxes, some paste, whatever you want to do with it. If you are putting it through, just work it through to the ends, pull it into the shape that you're liking, that you're wanting, that type of thing. And it just sort of plays around with the detail that you've got. Okay, so we've gone through and finished TJ's hair. I went through just with a very sort of random, erratic kind of curl to it, just putting a bit of wave, a little bend here, all the way through, nothing too structured, nothing too set, just nice and soft, nice and easy. After sort of going through all the cutting from the detail, I'm loving the result, loving the finish and all the details that we got. So please do the usual, do the like, subscribe, check out the channel, check out more videos, leave a comment, check out all the product description, or all the links for the products and stuff down below, all that good stuff. And I'll look forward to seeing you in another video. Thanks so much, stay safe out there. See you soon. Bye.